How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the channel. Today I have a first look at a couple of new knives coming in from Real Steel, and I think these two knives provide some of the best value on the entire knife market, and we're going to dig into why. I'll have these knives linked down below in the description. If you see one that strikes your fancy, it'll be easy to find down there. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoy knife and EDC content, you're in the right place. Make sure you subscribe because I release daily videos. And as always, let us know what you're carrying in your pockets today down in the comments. So what we have here is the Real Steel Iris Brothers. And what we are looking at is a rear flipper and a front flipper Iris. These will both be under the same selection on their website, and you can just choose which color and which flipper that you want. They're going to have a couple of different variations. We have a black G10 and a green G10 version here, and I say that these are some of the best value on the market right now in terms of someone just needing an EDC knife, just something no frills, no thrills, just they need a knife and they need a quality knife, right? You're going to be getting 12C27N steel, which is a pretty good stainless steel. You have a nice drop point, almost spear point like blade here, and it is going to be a full flat grind there. We have a nice sharpening choil there, and the front flipper is going to be designed very well as the rear flipper on the other version. They're both tuned very nicely. The action, the ball bearings work very good on both. Even with that lighter blade, it still has relatively good closing action. And as they get used, and I have not put any lubricant or anything in these are still rolling just pretty much dry. But once these get broken in a little bit, get a little bit of oil in them, they will probably be pretty close to drop shut. Now, we do have this micro texturing done on the G10, which will provide a little bit of added grip. We do have good jimping there on the flipper of the rear flipper and as well on the front flipper here. Very nice, very high, and that'll just combine a good design front flipper with a well-tuned detent, and you got a great recipe there. This will be a nice knife for someone to learn how to front flip. If you're new to front flipping, man, this would be a perfect knife to learn how and to do all the front flipper things. You know, the index rollover, the thumb rollover, and the reach around, this would be the knife I would pick for you right now to try a front flipper out. You have a very neutral handle here, and it's going to be very comfortable, especially the front flipper version where you can choke up right behind that edge. That is a huge plus right there. And then we're looking at a deep carry wire pocket clip, and that is going to be tail mounted, and it will be reversible for lefties. That is the case on both versions there. Real Steel always does a great job with their pocket clip, or usually do a great job. So they got all that going for them, and we're not done yet. We are looking at a steel liner here, but in this case, it's one steel liner, and it is a integral steel liner. So you have one piece of steel instead of two, which is going to make this a much more rigid knife than if it was just two separate liners and then you had a standoff or something in here. It's going to make this much more rigid. Even for its size, this will be able to take a little bit of added, abuse because of the strength of that frame there. Now, this is just a light duty gentleman's knife, but you could put this through theoretically a little bit more abuse because of that integral frame. We have great access to the liner there. They didn't chamfer it, they didn't jimp it, but also to top this thing off, we are going to be, let me look at the final price after the coupon. So they're right around 35 bucks with my little discount code that I'll have down there. Takes it down to around 32, 33 bucks, which is not bad at all to get 12C27, a good, useful blade shape, nice satin finish, textured G10. If you're just looking for a good quality pocket knife and you don't need anything, crazy, this would be a great candidate. You're going to get a good stainless 12C, the little brother to 14C. It's a fine steel, and especially at 32, 33 bucks, not bad at all. These are going to be a little bit more comfortable in hand as well because of that closed spine, that integral spine. You don't have to deal with a gap here, so it's going to naturally be a little bit more comfortable. And that wire pocket clip, because there's not much to it, you don't really feel that in hand. Now, I have been using this one to get a good feel for the knife and how it cuts, and they've cut well, just like pretty much any real steel that I've had in. We are looking at 6 5/8 overall there, and 2 3/4 inches of cutting edge, and 2 15/16 of total blade there. We'll bring out a couple of hoodlums here. We got the Kaiser Drop Bear and the full-size Benchmade Bug Out, and you'll see those are both quite a bit bigger than the Iris. How about a couple I just have sitting here? We got the Tenable Fenrir and the Concept Fermi. Those are going to both be quite a bit more substantial than this knife here. So what I think a good relation to this knife would be is just kind of a standard pen. And we have one here in titanium from Katuo, but it's going to be just a little bit bigger than, a standard pen is. And they're not going to weigh very much. It's just a very versatile knife for someone who's just, like I said, not looking for those frills with their knife. You have 2 options for deployment. You have a couple different color options. Good, solid quality from Real Steel. We'll go ahead and see how this edge has been holding up on both of them and the one I've been using. So we'll do the one I've been using. Nice and sharp still. And I haven't been using it, a ton. I've broken down a couple of boxes. Believe it or not, I get quite the amount of boxes that add up. Beautiful edge on this one. This one hasn't been used, and that's what you're going to get out of the box more often than not. Very nice. Cannot complain one bit about either of them. So that's kind of, what to expect out of the box from Real Steel and these knives here. Nice, fun, easy knife. This would be a great knife for someone who's just getting into knives, or if you're someone who wants to get someone a knife who has no experience with them. You don't want to drop a ton of money, but you want to get them something of some quality. Going to be easy to open, especially this rear flipper. It does not get any easier than that. You can just push down a little bit. That thing's going to come flying open, and you have a nice, useful blade there. Very comfortable, very easy to carry this thing just because of how skinny and short this knife is. Very nice from Real Steel. I think they really, they might not have the kind of the push that some companies do to get these knives out there, but boy, if people really got an eye on these 2 knives here, I think these will be and would be a pretty big hit with the general EDC crowd. So we shouldn't have any difference in weight, I don't think, but we'll check them both here. They're going to be under 2 ounces. 1.75 for the rear flipper. And, there is a smidge of difference there. 1.8. I think they're both 1.75, and the scale's just having a fit. So, very lightweight. We are going to go ahead and check the lock on both of these knives here. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. 1.8. the interesting thing about these, and I'll show you here in a moment, I've checked them both already. They're both nice and strong. But I was testing these, and I noticed something interesting on both of them. So they're both nice and strong, and it's not the best time, but you might be able to see it there. Do you see it to the left side of the liner there? It's actually added thickness to the top of that liner. There's actually a piece of steel that is screwed onto that liner, or I think it might be the same piece possibly as well. I haven't had this apart to look. It's either screwed onto that liner or it's actually milled out with that liner. But what it's doing is adding some thickness to that liner on the left side, where if that wasn't there, you'd just be relying on this little skinny piece of steel, which that would probably be enough, but they added a little something extra with that piece of steel to the left. So that keeps that entire tang covered up by that lock face, which is pretty cool in my opinion. And that's going to be the same case on this one here. You'll see that little tab there poking out. Just an interesting, we'll have to pull one of these apart sometime and see if that's one piece or if it's two. Guess it would make sense that it's just one piece and not two, but could be. It would make sense to be one. I think that would be stronger. But you'll have to let me know. What do you think of the Iris here? I think it's an impressive knife for the money. Be a great just everyday user for the beginner or just someone looking for, you know, a new everyday carry folder with no frills, but still looking for some decent quality. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. That helps push the video out there to more people, and I really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, I release daily content just like this. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell. That'll notify you anytime I release new content. I'll put a couple of new videos up on your screen. Go check one of them out. Have yourself an awesome day. Thank you all again for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.